I just want to mention the show that's coming up now with Matt and Dr. Young is very timely because of what you just said. We live in a society where we've been treated only on a limited basis of knowledge. But our consciousness and human consciousness is all inclusive. There are no secrets. There are no secrets. And one of the things that Dr. Young and Matt is working on is actually expressing to the world the secrets about our health, about our personal health and well-being. And the work that Dr. Young is doing has been suppressed, especially by the media and the farm companies, organizations, the government. Basically, everyone has really kind of rejected Dr. Young, and for no good reason. He actually has the secrets, and it's called Masterpiece. And in the next hour show, Dr. Young and Matt are going to be explaining all of the work, the great work that they're doing as far as perfect health. And we talked in this show a little bit about memory. And one of the things that I ask people that I first meet, one of the questions, I ask many, but one is, do you remember when you were perfectly healthy? A very simple question. And usually people say, I was never healthy, or I never will be healthy. You know, perfect health is a fantasy. But the fact is, our memory inside of us, we could have been perfectly healthy in another lifetime in the past, or our perfect health is in the future. But what I say is the best answer is that right now, we are perfectly healthy. Right now, in this moment. So when I say, do you remember? And then people return that like a rubber biscuit to me and say, David, do you remember when you were perfectly healthy? My response now consciously is, yes, I am perfectly healthy right now, because I really believe that. And I believe that the mental attitude and not necessarily mind control, but what we were talking about is being conscious of our behaviors. If we remember when we're perfectly healthy, we do not need some drug. Our body will transform itself on a cellular level. And the work that Dr. Young and Matt is doing is very scientific. And they have the journal records, and they study, and they have studied for many, many, many years. This is not a new concept, and this is not something for the future. The work that Dr. Young and Matt is doing is happening now, and they are saving lives. And it's wonderful. Right now, we do have a couple more minutes. I don't know how you want to wrap it up, Jack. You're welcome to stay. Like I said, you can stay online. Dr. Young's going to be coming on, and then we're going to really focus. And also, Matt, if you want, if Jack doesn't really have anything left to say, we can go ahead and you can introduce yourself and prepare us for the next hour. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm just a regular old guy, and I'm self-taught gentleman and not indoctrinated with any bad programming. You know, what we have is an ongoing study that we take people's blood and we test it for all types of forever chemicals, including graphene oxide, hydrogel, PFOs, PFOAs, heavy metals, all these unnatural, impure things that are from industrial processes and should not belong in our bodies. They disrupt all functionings of our bodies. And so what we are doing is a study where we take their blood, then put them on the protocol of Masterpiece. And then after 35 days, and then again after 90 days, we took their results, their blood work again, and seeing how the levels come out. And it's astounding, the results. What we've been able to show is, in the case of the test subjects that we've had, a drastic, significant reduction in these things that if you think you are healthy with stuck, trapped forever chemicals in you, if you think you're as healthy as you can be, then you don't understand creation and nature and how things work, because this natural, harmonious ecosystem, environment, inner terrain of our bodies, it wasn't meant to have these magnetically stuck things inside of us. And It is the root cause of the worldwide health decline that we're looking at, and the worldwide health epidemic that's undeniable. And so what we know is, we know that the human body is amazing and beautiful, and the only thing you have to do to get back to your most amazing, beautiful, perfect self is get these unnatural things out of your body. Your body can do the rest. Dr. Robert Young is an absolute pioneer when it comes to microscopy and what they call pleomorphism, which is shape shifting, adapt the way your body changes as needed, which means, a lot of people have heard the word getting back to homeostasis. And so he is the GOAT, or the Don, at microscopy and many forms of this type of understanding, what I call real science of patterns in nature. And what needed to be created for the sake of humanity and for saving the planet is what was obviously not there a few years ago. If we looked around, no matter what type of healthy lifestyle and diet habits people had, whether they were fruitarians, breatharians, or workout fanatics, or whatever you were doing, there was almost nobody that was getting healthier. And I'm really talking about your emotional state of being. Our emotional state of being, people have been giving into apathy. They're not their best version anymore. And so getting your mood, your consciousness level, I'm an expert at the science of consciousness, and to be able for people to hold a higher consciousness and a better emotional state of being, well-being, is key to them being healthy. And so if you get the junk out of your body, then your body can find its way back to its best self. Now, you have all these stuck, trapped heavy metals in your brain and all that, and we wonder why we got so much Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and kids coming out left and right with autism when it didn't used to be nearly the rate that it's at. And so, that's kind of the route and the road that I've been on. We developed a product that was specifically designed to remove all the broad forever chemicals. We do not market it. We do shows and talk about it, but we haven't spent $1 on marketing. I created this thing in a 40-year-old camper that leaks on my family. I didn't do this to get rich. I did this to help out mankind. So all the people in the world, the most esteemed experts and doctors that have come aboard, such as Dr. Robert Young, such as Carolyn Mansfield, there's a whole laundry list, Dr. Carrie Madej, there's a ton of people. We've been on all these high-level people that you couldn't pay off, and we certainly didn't have the money to pay them off. But, they're all aboard because they see this for what it is. And what we're fearless about as a company trying to usher and steward this out to humanity is, real simple. I believe in proof. I like evidence. I like the truth. I like facts. I like stuff that is measurable, quantifiable. I don't like to have stories with fairy tales. I don't like to bring on pretty marketing people that sit there and say, this ain't snake oil. This is really going to do everything you want. What we have done, and we've been fearless about going after, we have more proof backing this product in the miraculous sounding testimonials that people pour in every day that is taking it, literally. And we back it up with electron microscope images, all types of nano analysis showing how formulas, guys, when you take things, they have to have a certain charge. They got to be at a certain size. That tells you where it can go in the body, where it's going to stick, so that you can kind of see if you're trying to do a mechanism of action or get it to, which for us, our mechanism of action, we want it to bind, magnetically bind, trap, remove, and escort out of the body anything that doesn't belong in your body, anything that's unnatural, anything that's not from creation. So anything that's from creation, guess what? No, we're not allergic to any of that stuff. I mean, that's just, we don't have to worry about that. All we have to ever worry about is the stuff that started coming about with this industrial revolution and, you know, all this nefarious, evil nanotechnology crap, this graphene oxide and what they're aerosol and different things like that, of course. But we're, you know, we're proving in every form and fashion how great this thing is. And it's the most affordable product you've probably taken. It's less than $1 a day. It's $52 a bottle. We could have priced it at $1,000 if we cared about looking at companies that have anything that's even similar. And I was, oh, well, we can be this much value, and none of that thinking went into any of this. You got a team of people. You got a lady, Carolyn Mansfield, who risked her life putting I'm going to have to open up the store in a second. Literally putting her life on the line, taking people's blood and sending it off for graphene oxide and all. That's very risky business. People have been murdered over this stuff. All right. So she didn't do it. She didn't get $1 for it. She did all this. She did a whole study, a cellular toxin study, that where we put our product to the test to make sure it works, right? And she did it with no compensation. The gentleman that helped me get the zeolite down to this perfect range is a founder of a nanolab, and he's in the belly of the beast. He's been in the belly of the beast. He makes his money off of doing R&D for places that have terrible reputations, like BioNTech and Bayer and stuff. And he had seen his life's work be used in these vaccines to harm humanity. It had overtaken him with guilt and shame, and he was emotionally exhausted. And so when I was just calling these places, trying to find someone who could even answer some questions, because I was just on a mission to try to make a solution that wasn't there yet. And he jumped on board. The guy's never, ever charged me for anything. He only just wants to see this get out to humanity. Robert Young, the most smeared doctor alive, the most lied on, jailed. They want to shut this guy up for everything they can. And, you know, he doesn't get any compensation for getting the word out about this. So this is a great opportunity to save humanity. And we're going to be doing a double-blind, double placebo randomized study with all forms of age groups. Now that we got some money coming in, we can have a whole lot of people instead of just 3. And, you know, there's 2 ingredients in it, and they're very natural. One is a lava mineral, lava. So you have lava and it goes into ocean water, an amazing thing happens. And you have zeolite, and zeolite is an amazing toxin and binder and chelator. It gets all the different things out, and we've proven that because we've tested people for phosgene, ferric oxide, glyphosate. Heard of glyphosate? PFOs, PFOAs, PEs, hydrogel, polyethylene glycol, graphene oxide, all the heavy metals. So this product gets all that stuff, reduces the levels in the blood at least of all those things. And then it has marine plasma, living structured marine plasma, which is the most bioavailable, nutrient-rich substance known on Earth today. It has every single element in the periodic chart in its most bioavailable state. Bioavailable means it's super small, so it can get into your body real good. And the marine plasma, minerals and ions, every mineral that's in your body is in marine plasma. And so when you look at this stuff at 100,000 magnifications with an electron microscope, which you've never seen a product before that has electron microscope images of it, we do. We got all the nano analysis. We got all the dark field microscopy, crystallography, Beta Austin's work out of New Zealand. We have all types of analysis that you can imagine. And really what we're doing is we're going to get this in front of every single man and woman on the planet before I die. And it's going to be in a way where it's affordable, because that's my mission. And I'm lucky to be alive a long time ago. Anybody knows my life story anyways. I've been through it. I've been shot up and left for dead. I've been years of my life, all types of stunts, so to just get to be alive with a perfect, beautiful, happy family the way I do, and get to spend my extra time and energy to improve the people's life all around the planet that I'll never get to even meet. Guess what? There's over 100 testimonials a day coming in of people that are feeling better than they felt in a long time. They're sleeping better. They're dreaming. They're claiming that they're dreaming better than they've ever dreamed. A lot of people don't dream for a long time. That means you're third eye blind. They start dreaming like crazy all of a sudden. They start thinking and being clear in the moment, their mood, their attitude. Guess what? When you feel better physically, you can think better and be better emotionally. You talk to people different at the grocery store. You are more tolerant of your plants, animals, kids, your spouse, everything. You affect the world in a better way. This stuff, provably through all forms of kinesiology, muscle testing, reflexology that you can even imagine, it raises the consciousness of the average person's consciousness goes up 20 points on the David Hawkins level of consciousness chart the first 90 days of using Masterpiece. That is exponentially means you are the planet, everything around you in a healthier, better way. You're making the world at that point a better place than you used to. And is that what it's all about? You better believe it. So guess what? That's what we're doing. So
Wow, thank you so much, Matt. Daniel, I don't know if you're still listening, but maybe you can just mention, are you from Transhumanist? Is this the Daniel that I think it is?
Yes, it is. Hi, I checked in early because sometimes there's a disconnect with Alexa when
Excellent. Welcome, Daniel. Actually, the interview, you're a little bit, excuse me, but you're a little bit early. And actually, Dr. Young is supposed to come on here very shortly. So we got about 50
I'm going to bounce
minutes.
off real quick and tell him to get on there.
Okay. Well, then Daniel and I will talk a little bit until you get back on, and then we'll have Dr. Young. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Awesome.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you, Daniel.
Yes, how are things in the lungs of the earth, Brazil?
Everything here is beautiful. It's our summertime, and I'm here on Evolution Island, which is off the coast of São Paulo. And this is a live stream for a podcast that I'm the host. They call me David the Indian, and the podcast is called The Power of Islands. And we usually focus on islands, all of the famous islands. There's thousands of them all over the globe. But also, as far as human consciousness and maybe even the transhumanist movement, we are all islands. That's what we say. We're like islands in a stream of consciousness. So the power that we have is enormous. And this interview in particular that's coming on, I know Dr. Young's schedule is really tied up, just like Tom Ross and yours, and we appreciate so much that you're even joining us. But do you know Dr. Robert Oldham Young? Do you know the name?
The name sounds familiar. I've been connected with alternative health community practitioners for most of my media career. But I'll probably put the face with the name when I see him.
Right. Well, like Matt was saying, you didn't hear all of what he was saying, but Matt is passionate. Matt is not giving up. He's going to go for all of humanity to get these. It's called Masterpiece, and these are liquid drops that actually detoxify the blood, your blood, and takes out all of the heavy metals within 5 drops under your tongue. It's basically a structured water, kind of like a colloidal silver. I don't know if you know colloidal silver. It's a very simple procedure to make these medicines. Like Matt said, I think it's $50 for the whole bottle in this small bottle, and you take 5 drops for a month, and then you get your blood analysis. And they're doing nano analysis, which is the first time ever. Dr. Young is one of the most highly published doctors on earth, and he has been classified by the U.S. government as extremely dangerous. And the state of California, he lives in San Diego, I believe, outside of LA. And the state of California is prosecuting him and trying to close him down. Not only the state of California, but all of the United States. The pharmaceutical companies do not want a solution of these drops that basically cure every illness. When Matt was talking about Alzheimer's and autism and all of these brain-related neurological illnesses. Here we go. Matt's back on. Were you successful, Matt, in reaching Dr. Young?
Yeah, he was just finishing up with our video we were doing right before this, and so I sent him the link on his email. He'll be on here in just a second.
Okay, just for your information, Matt, Daniel is from the Transhumanist Party, and he's running for vice president with Tom Ross as being the president. And at the top of the hour, right after our interview with you and Dr. Young, we're going to be talking with the Transhumanist Party. So while you were gone, I was just mentioning some of the things to Daniel, because the work that I believe, I'm still learning about, it's a new thing for me. I've seen some of the things that Transhumanists is screaming.
There's one big problem with their plan that they never counted on. They never, ever counted on there being a solution to remove the graphene oxide out of someone's body, because the biosensors and that entire system that they're hooking up to wherever it's Neuralink, Starlink, or all the other places with doing that, it doesn't work with no graphene in your body. That's the fact. So am I on mute? Oh, I can't hear anybody.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay.
You were clear. You're very clear.
Yeah, so this whole transhumanism,
very passionate,
weird, evil stuff, that's, wait till you hear Dr. Robert Young. He can break it down much easier than I can, but, you know, the hydrogel brings the graphene in. It's just the carrier, and, oops. And, yeah, they didn't count on. I can't wait to show you the electron microscope images of here. Let me see. I wish I could change my background. I'd love to show you guys, if you haven't seen what graphene looks like underneath an electron microscope and dark field microscopy, to understand it's kind of like a sometimes multi-layered, sometimes just one layer, and it has a positive charge, and obviously it's self-replicating, makes all these weird stuff. Robert Young has countless footage that he can show of it, but I didn't really realize I was stumbling across something like this when I used to walk around naked, barefoot in the ground in the middle of the night, waiting for information to hit me. I was looking around. I got kids. I got more kids than you could shake a stick at. I got kids from 27 years old all the way down to a 1-year-old little girl. So I thought to myself, boy, this fucking world's fucked. My kids are fucked. I'm not going to be alive forever. And whatever these people think they, you know, all of us have good working knowledge on suppressed healing modalities. And, you know, at least the people I'm around have a pretty good amount of awareness and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but they got us rigged. This systems, they got us beat, because everybody's health, especially their minds, were leaving them, getting worse and worse. Even the tough people, their apathy was getting crunched and pressed and stressed. And so their apathy and complacency was, you know, they're being succumbing to that. And I thought, man, and I have always bought into the fact that our bodies are the most amazing technology in the universe. So I thought, well, we got to get something out of there. We have to get these unnatural things out of the body. And so I happened to come across the most amazing people. I mean, I don't know if I always believe in this whole divine, you know, I don't know, I guess, because I like proof so much. But I can tell you the people that got involved with this, you know, they're all way above my pay grade. And so, you know, just to be able to take people's blood, measure it, see high levels of graphene oxide, put them on a very simple highly safe, highly gentle, tastes good. So here it is. This is all you got to do twice a day. Ready? That taps it and energetically charges it again because you have marine plasma that is stuck to the zeolite. The zeolite's negative charge. The marine plasma is positively charged. So this is just kind of recharges it. And you do this. 5 drops. Switch it around. Mix it with your enzymes. It's small enough that it's going to go past your cell membranes. It will leave everything that is natural, normal, and negatively charged alone in your body. And 99% of the stuff that's bad for you has a positive charge. Not all of it, though. But that's why you want to bind your anchelator. But the stuff that they're using, they can't pull off their transhumanism agenda if they can't get graphene to build up and take over someone's body. They just can't do it. So Robert Young can explain things much better than me. But he looked at everything underneath the electron microscope and many other different things. He can tell you, I don't know those big words. And they matched up with the results that Carolyn Mansfield got from the blood studies. And it was pretty neat. We were the first place that ever tested people's blood for graphene, that you could ever see the results anywhere. So she literally told me, get a hold of Robert Young. He'll know what to do with this. And that's how I met Robert.
Well, yeah, great story. I know Dr. Young just stepped away. I don't know if he's still listening. But I have a quick question, Matt. Maybe you can just answer. I'm in Brazil, and Brazil notoriously does not, through customs, do not let things like that bottle that you just tapped. We cannot get that. They stop it. They stop anything from here. So my question is, do you manufacture around the world, or is just primarily in the U.S., or how can we get this product to Brazil, like openly?
It's manufactured in the U.S. and we definitely have to. It's in a facility that is regulated. I'll say they've already tried to shut us down. They've already tried to shut our payment processors. They've been brutally attacking this thing. It's like they were aware of it right from the beginning. But we have had a lot of success actually shipping to different places. I'm not saying you're going to get it in 3 days. I'm just saying the place that does our shipping, they have many things there that they ship out regularly. And so when I'm getting things in that, like the marine plasma comes from across the ocean through customs, and they handle all that well. We've been getting packages even out to Belarus, which is pretty hard to get there too. And so, hey, Robert, they got some people on here that are with a transhumanism group or whatnot, not for transhumanism, against it, but I assume, right? Everybody's against transhumanism. Is that what I'm getting? So, but I figured that's where the conversation seemed to be going about, maybe talking about the graphene oxide and all that. So,
Yeah. Well, yes. Welcome, Dr. Young. Go ahead. If you can go ahead and help us to get caught up to speed. Thank you so much for your time. We know that your time is very, very valuable, and you have a lot of demands. And so go ahead. We're going on. We have about a little bit over a half an hour remaining. And so you can mention a few things. Matt has done a great job. His enthusiasm and his passion. I have never really met anybody with such a drive. And it's wonderful and it's refreshing. And I'm sure that you're equally charged. So go ahead, Dr. Young.
Yes, well, thank you. Nice to meet you, David, and to be able to speak on your platform. It's always an honor and appreciate very, very much to be able to share truth to folks out there. Time is of the essence as it relates to this research and what is going on. Those on the opposite side of this narrative have been working at this for not a few years, but decades. And I would say that it's over 150 years, maybe longer. But this whole process of taking control of humanity and destroying the enmity between, the seed our seed and when we talk about transhumanism, you know, artificial intelligence being impregnated into our bodies. Say it however you want to, from a spiritual or religious sense, as a possession, of any foreign matter. But today we're being exposed to chemicals. These chemicals are highly toxic to our bodies, and we're also being exposed to heavy metals and nanotechnology, such as graphene oxide. And graphene oxide is a two-dimensional material that is 100% that is 100 times stronger than steel, and it is indestructible. Anybody that says they can destroy it with EDTA doesn't know what they're talking about. You cannot destroy this. What you can do is collect it, dismantle it, demagnetize it, and these are the words that people need to understand. When Matt talks about zeta potential, what he's talking about is he's talking about magnetism. He's talking about charge of material. He's specifically talking about surface charge. And in the human body, the cells that make up there, you have 70 trillion cells. Those cells have a negative surface charge. That's the zeta potential. And particularly when we're talking about the vascular system and the human blood, specifically the red blood cell, I want people to know that the red blood cell is the most important cell in the human body. It is the primary stem cell. Everything that is different from that is a lie. Even Moses understood this in the Old Testament, where he said this: "For the life of all flesh is the blood," not in the blood, is the blood. The red blood cell is the primary, and it's not a primary stem cell, and it's not created in the marrow and the bones. It is biologically created in the crypts of the small intestine. That's the primary site of producing the embryonic cell, which is called the erythroblast, that becomes the erythrocyte, or the red blood cell. And people are taking enzymes, they're taking probiotics, they're destroying that environment. They're destroying the pH and the ORP. The ORP is the oxidative reduction potential, the zeta potential of that environment. The pH is at 8.4. It's identical to the human ocean. The ORP, or the electrical potential of that ocean, the body ocean, of our bodies, of that environment, the small intestine, is at a negative 80 millivolts. Negative, meaning that surface charge is negative, not positive, negative. And so we're talking about electromagnetics here, bioelectric magnetics. And it's important to understand this and to learn the words. And for people that don't know about pH, pH is an acronym that stands for the potential of hydrogen. I like to, state that that pH means perfect health. The human body in its perfect health is by managing the alkaline design of the body fluids. How can you do that when you're being poisoned? I mean, we just had a Russian that lost his life. He was poisoned. Okay? Guess what? We're all being poisoned. From the water we drink, to the food we eat, to the air we breathe, and unfortunately, the system, the dynamics of this is the very people that are supposed to do no harm are doing harm, whether they know it or not. It's still a sin of commission or a sin of omission. I don't know. Well, if you don't know, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. But here again, the nutraceutical companies doing this, they call it health care. They call it nutrition. It's not. It's scientism. It's deception. And it's not providing an environment that's conducive to health. And so when we understand the blood is the primary stem cell and it's made in the crypts of the small intestine, that changes everything. And the other thing that's important for people to understand is the stomach does not digest food. I was just in a conversation with another doctor from London, and I said, people don't realize, that hydrochloric acid is why it's in their stomach. what is hydrochloric acid doing in the stomach? And why does hydrochloric acid increase when you exercise or you work out, or when you start thinking about food? The reason why is because the stomach doesn't digest food. It's an organ of contribution. It's producing a compound called sodium or potassium bicarbonate. It's baking soda. It produces it every second. Well, in order for the body to do that, it needs to take water from the body, it has to take salt, and it has to take carbon dioxide. And when it produces sodium bicarbonate, it produces a waste product. Like when you burn wood, you create heat, but it creates a waste product. It's called carbon monoxide. When a car burns gasoline for energy, it produces a waste product, carbon monoxide. Well, you wouldn't, put carbon monoxide in your body. Why would you put enzymes in your body? Why would you put probiotics in your body? Why would you put any nutraceutical or pharmaceutical that has hydrochloric acid? Why would you take enzymes? These are all acidic waste products. So what happens is that the reason HCl is in your gut, it falls into the gastric pits away from food, is because the body, when you think of food, needs to produce a compound called baking soda to alkalize the food to prepare it for biological transformation in the crypts of the small intestine at a pH of 8.4 at what? 80 millivolts. You can't do that with hydrochloric acid. That's why people are sick. So they'll say, well, what about cancer? Cancer is a disease of the fluids. It is caused by a 4-letter word, ACID. But there's other compounds that are just as toxic, not just hydrochloric acid. What about graphene oxide? Our parents told us, not to play with pencils. Why? Because you might, like swords, you might stab your sister or your brother. And what is that? It's graphene. And graphene is poisonous. What are they putting in the vaccines? They're putting graphene. It's cytotoxic. It's genotoxic. It's magnetic. You see, and it's tiny, down to a size of 1 nanometer. And they put this into the inoculations. You can't see it because it's so small. But here again, if you put a magnet up to that vial, it'll start collecting, and all of a sudden it'll start self-assembly, and all of a sudden it'll turn black. And black goo is coming out of people's skin. It's coming out different orifices, and people are wondering, where is this stuff coming from? It's coming from the air. It's coming from the food. What it is, it's a black goo. In nanotechnology, we call it quantum. We call it quantum nanodots. And these nanodots are as small as 1 nanometer. And when you're measuring stuff, you can measure, let's say, in microns. 1 micron is 1/25,000th of an inch. But 1 millimicron, you have to add a whole bunch of zeros onto that. We're talking about billionths of an inch. That's what we're talking about here. It passes right through your skin. You breathe it. You absorb it. You take it into the body fluids, and what does the body do? It rejects it immediately. That's why these bad actors that are putting this technology into us, I can't believe they don't know the truth, that this is going to cause harm to the body, injury to the body, and death. And that's what these vaccinations have done. And all vaccinations, all of them contain this technology. So, and on top of that, even the aspirin you take contains this technology. The PCR test on the swab contains this technology. The straw, that paper straw, they came out and said, "Well, no, we can't use plastics anymore because the plastics are getting into the water, and they're synthetic, and that's getting into the body, causing harm." Well, guess what they're doing to take the plastics out? They're using graphene oxide. So when you drink the water, you're not getting the plastic. Now you're getting the cytotoxic, genotoxic graphene oxide. People say, "Well, I didn't get vaccinated. How's graphene in my body?" Do you drink tap water? Well, guess what? Do you drink bottled water? Well, guess what? You just got graphinated. That's how bad it is. And so getting back to the straws, no plastic straws. We're going to give you the paper straws because what they contain, graphene oxide. I mean, and who owns these companies? The same people that own just about every business, you know? I mean, you know who they are. One of their names starts with black. It has to do with some rock. You know, what is BlackRock? I mean, it's crazy. It's totally crazy, you know? So the question is, and has always been in my mind, how can I help someone? And first off, I think, how can I help myself so I can help others and the loved ones that I care about? And it becomes not a money thing. It's not, oh, I want to sell this because I want to make money. No, it becomes, how can I save myself and my family? That's where we're at right now. How can I save my children and my grandchildren? That's where we're at. You know, I don't care about the money thing, okay? But I need money like everybody else, you know, because that's the system that's been established. The root of all evil is using money for evil. That's the root. And Lucifer has said it. I'm going to quote the son of the morning, Lucifer, and I quote, okay, you can have anything in this world for money, close quote, out of his own mouth. Well, he doesn't have a mouth. He wants your body so he can have a mouth. I mean, we are biofields. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, not physical beings having a spiritual. These electromagnetic fields, which I've measured in hertz, I did a study in 1998 with BBC, and it was a double-blinded placebo study. And we're talking about between 15 and 100 hertz. 1998, I did this study, okay? And guess what I found? It destroys the blood. Anything that destroys the blood causes disease, because disease is a symptom of the destruction of the most important cell in the human body, which is the blood. So guess what? The frequencies back then on the cell phones, you know, those big honking things that we carried around, and you know, you had to, I mean, you held it too long on the ear, your whole head heated up. I mean, it was hot. It was in your hand, it got hot, you know, and that was around 50 to 100 hertz. Well, our body runs around 7 to 8 hertz. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen if you start exposing body tissue to something beyond what is normal? It's going to die. It's going to break down. And we've gone beyond 50 to 70 hertz on the early cell phones. Now we're talking about what? Gigahertz. At 2.4 gigahertz. That's microwave. Would you put your head in a microwave and turn it on at 2.4 gigahertz? What would happen to your brain if your head was in there, in your eyes? Do you think they'd pop out of your head? Well, guess what? You do that every time you put your cell phone to your head. Do you think that would cause headaches? Being around this frequency constantly, day in and day out, microwave radiation. The same radiation of your microwave oven that leaks, even when it's off, it puts out that frequency. And then to make things worse, you jump in an electric car that's tens of thousands of times higher than that. I mean, we're talking about milligauss because there's two fields, electrical field and a magnetic field. But we learned this when we were kids in the 60s because our parents told us, you've got to social distance yourself from that TV set. You're too close to this TV, Robert. You need to back off, you know. You're getting radiation. The radiation is off the charts now compared to being 6 feet. That's where that whole thought came from. When Fauci said we need to social distance, that came from the U.S. Department of the Environmental Protection Agency in 1964. They asked him the question. He said, where did this 6 feet? Well, we really don't know where the 6. Yes, we do. He doesn't want to say it. The reason he doesn't want to say it because it makes him look stupid, which he is. The bottom line is, in 1964, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, you need to be back from your TV set at 64. Guess what? You need to be back from the city you live in about 20 to 50 miles now. You cannot live within a city and be normal, because you've got a cell tower everywhere. In Wuhan, what happened in November in Wuhan? They put up 10,000 cell towers in Wuhan, and in the latter part of that month, after they gave graphinated vaccines to the people in Wuhan, not in Shanghai, not in Beijing, but the target was Wuhan, as if it was the focus of the spread of some virus called the coronavirus. The novel coronavirus that was so-called discovered in 2002, which has never been proven to exist. There is no purified isolation of coronavirus. It does not exist. In fact, the cartoons that they put up of the coronavirus look identical to the same cartoons that Fauci put up in the 80s, around 1981, 82, who I know personally, that Luc Montagnier, the Nobel Prize winner for discovering what? The HIV virus? Out of his own mouth, deathbed confession, I never, quote, I never purified an isolation of HIV, close quote. So what did he start doing? He started calling corona VAIDS, not AIDS, VAIDS. Okay, so when these characters start telling you they're putting SV40 in it, all they're saying is they're putting synthetic biology and graphene into an inoculation, poisoning you and setting you up to reduce the surplus population, in the words of Henry Kissinger, as useless eaters. We're priceless. You're priceless. What's the worth of you? Priceless. What's the worth of your children? What would you do for your children right now?
Wow.
What would you do?
What would you not do?
What's the solution to what they're doing? It's all lies. All of it. The germ theory is a lie. The viral theory is a lie. The DNA theory, genetic, lie. It's all a lie. The whole science is a lie. Period. It's a story. Just like that cartoon of HIV now being used as a cartoon for Ebola, or for, not Ebola, Ebola is different, but for Corona. But we can't get anyone, either from the United Nations or the WHO or the CDC, when we're writing letters to them, please provide us a document, a study, a research where you have purified an isolation of HIV, coronavirus, Ebola, or for that matter, polio. They flat out don't exist. People died from polio from DDT poisoning. Remember DDT in the 50s? They were spraying people with DDT. The kids would come into school, they would spray them with DDT. It's a nerve agent. They were poisoning our children, calling it a virus, and the Salk vaccine was totally a fraud. What did they do in 1918 to 1919 to 1920? The Rockefellers developed 17 poisons that they called vaccines, injected that into the people, and then flipped on radio waves, and everybody starts dying. And we have literally tracked. In fact, I just got a call from Norway. We have literally tracked all over the world the spikes of all-cause mortality, excess deaths, directly to the introduction of the technology. So in Wuhan, when they vaccinated their people in Wuhan, China, and they had the matrix set up for the EMF, they flipped the switch to 5G, and people start falling over dead. They start falling. And what gets blamed? What? Some zoonotic zoonotic virus from a bat, transferring over, being transfected to a human that then passes it on to somebody and somebody gets on a flight. This is crazy. This is total psychosis. The people that are buying into this, they must be possessed with this artificial intelligence. In other words, they're probably soulless. Who knows what they're possessed with? But where's their heart? Where's their passion? Where's their love for themselves and their family? Did they get enticed with the Son of the Morning's comments? You can have anything in this world for money. All you have to do is not love your neighbor, just go over there and kill him, and then take what is his or hers. So we get messages, comments on these videos we do, and people can become offended by what I say. But guess what? Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes you don't like to hear the truth. Why? Guilty as charged. But as long as I have life in my body, and as long as I have love in my heart, and as long as I care for all of humanity, and I believe in a loving, caring God, the people that are making the decisions have lost all that. They've lost their minds. They care more about themselves, more about their bank accounts. So between the bankers and the technocrats, they are on a mission, as in the Guidestones that were destroyed in Georgia, that said one of their goals that was written into stone is to reduce the surplus population to 500 million. And then the United States Census, in the United States, they have a census showing the population reduction to less than 90 million. They've already projected the U.S. population on or before 2030 is going to be less than 90 million. That means over 210 million people will no longer be with us. And then when you look at some of the statistics of what happened in the release of the vaccines, because these excess mortality is directly connected to what? It's connected to the inoculation, into the transfection. Even the bacterial soap that they gave you is laced with nanotechnology of graphene. So here you're thinking you're protecting yourself, and you're literally transfecting yourself with this technology that goes right through the pores of the skin. And they're putting them in condoms, and they're putting it on Tampax. Another way to transfect people. Well, I haven't been vaccinated. Yes, but every day you wake up, you get transfected by this technology. They're spraying every day. It's in everything. Even in Cheerios. My favorite cereal when I was growing up as a child has been transfected with this nanotechnology. You can't even, you remember the guy, the Pilgrim guy in Quaker's Oat? Transfected with nanotechnology. We don't think this, we know this. And now we're testing the blood of vaccinated and unvaccinated people, and we're doing it third party. And we can't get away with that in the United States because they don't want people to know the truth. So all the CLIA licensed labs in the United States have been forbidden to test. If they want to continue to test blood, they cannot test vilinidine dichloride, phosgene, graphene oxide, and other forever chemicals, because you would then know the truth, that we're being poisoned by our own government. So we had to go out of the country. Not me, our team, testing in another country, which I will not reveal. That's not my decision. Somebody wants to reveal that, let them reveal it. I just want the information. And it is conclusive. Everyone based on our study, has been transfected and is carrier of this technology, which means everyone is at risk, which means time is of the essence. Everyone. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This is a world event, and it's affecting everything that's living. I mean, we've got trees in Alaska that have been blamed on what? Acid rain? Logically, think about this. You've got in Denali, Alaska, that are totally trees, and all in another section. Well, how come if this was infectious and not man-made created by directed energy weapons, where they're actually, you know, and other cities around the world literally destroyed that forest with electromagnetic frequencies, and then blame it on acid rain, and then somehow have some sort of green agenda, which is totally bogus, that this is man-made created? I bought into it. I got sucked into the acid theory. Well, it is acid. It's electromagnetic produced by electromagnetic energy. These things you don't see. I mean, I could go on and on and on. The evidence shows this. So I am always looking for solutions to the pollutions. How do I protect myself? How out? And will they even listen to me? Because they think I'm crazy. Possibly. But they don't want to say it. Well, dad is dad, you know, or, you know, well, that's my sweetheart, you know. I mean, you know, he just too bold and, you know, too open about the truth. You have to be honest now. Time is of the essence. I am a targeted person. I am under attack daily. But you all out there are also being attacked, whether you know it or not. You're starting to feel it. Put your hands and cup them over your ears and listen to all the noise, the static. You have to cup them both and listen to all the static. That static is your environment. It's affecting one of the most important glands in the human body. It's called the pineal gland. And what is the pineal gland? The pineal gland is a gland that works under photosynthesis. Oh, you mean we're like plants? Whoa, what a novel idea. You mean I can transform light into energy? Wow, what does that? Your body cells. It creates piezoelectricity. It creates electrical activity. Where do you think all these biosensors that are running inside your body, where did they get it from? They get it from you. They suck life off of you. That's why one of the symptoms that people are experiencing worldwide is fatigue, tiredness. I don't have enough energy. I just talked to my good friend. I said, what's going on? Are you okay? I'm in a wheelchair. He's my age. He's in a wheelchair. And he eats like I do. Well, maybe not. I mean, but he says he does. But what are you doing? I have no energy. I can't walk. I don't have no strength. You're being radiated, people. You're being microwaved. You're like frogs in water, and while the temperature is gradually being turned up. I have more of this or more of that. It's because you're being irradiated. And because you've been graphinated, it's like a magnet. It attracts this energy. And then you go out and buy a smart TV, and then you go out and buy a smartphone, and then you go out and buy a smart refrigerator that talks to you and does your shopping and calls you up and tells you what to buy. This is crazy. And they're putting together smart stores. You go to the grocery store. It's unsurvivable. It has to stop. So all these people in Wuhan on the initiation of this pandemic, this fraud against humanity, which it is. It's a total fraud. Started in Wuhan as an illusion with a storyline that's been preached for now hundreds of years. Oh, there's a contagious virus. Scientism, totally false. God save us all from our stupidity. Hosea said it. My people perish because of ignorance. Wake up. Stop this technology. This technology needs to be dismantled. It needs to come down. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm saying that as in a safe and effective way, it needs to be legislated and stopped. No more towers, no more Wi-Fi, no more 5G, no more 4G, and no more inoculating people. What you need to give them is clean water, clean air, and clean food. And clean supplements. Now what we have to do, and where Matt comes in, we have to create formulations to offset, to be an antidote to the poisons that we're experiencing on a daily basis. And that's where Masterpiece comes in. That's where Four Salts comes in. That's where Terra Firma Clay comes in. You see, there's lots of quivers in our bag that we can pull out. Ow. You see? And you can gain this knowledge. Well, guess what? You have to gain this knowledge, because if you don't, you will not survive it. And that's not a scare tactic to sell some product. And whoever says so is a liar. If you want, go out and find a clay lake and eat the dirt yourself. Or go to Lighthouse, Nevada, and dig up the dirt, grind it, put it in water and start drinking it. The largest communication base in the world, Lighthouse, Nevada. There's no lighthouse there. The reason they call it lighthouse is because it lights up from a satellite. You can actually see it from space. There's so much energy coming off that area. That clay, that dirt is a chelation. It pulls, it adsorbs. And that's exactly what zeolite does. That's exactly with a zeolite that has a negative surface charge that's in a plasma material, a colloidal material that's like your own body plasmas, interstitial plasma, vascular plasma. You see, this technology, powerful antioxidant. What are we finding, Matt? We're finding, he can talk on this, but we're finding that this material at the nano size will couple, just like two train cars coming together, and they couple and link. They can't come apart. They're stuck, right? They're demagnetized. And that's exactly what Masterpiece does. That's exactly what Four Salts does. And then absorbs. And if you look at the technology of multidimensional graphene bases that this product has, it's not like a one-story building. It's not a two-story building. This technology is a skyrise. It has multi-stories. And it's hexagonal in the same shape that graphene is. And it's opposite polarity, just like two magnets, one negative polarity, one positive, come together and connect. You just demagnetize this technology, and you've trapped it. You've caged it. You've imprisoned it. And the body can then get rid of it. You see, you just saved your life. Everyone needs these products. Everyone in the world. All 8 billion of us. And you don't have to take a lot of it. Because in this world, less is more and more is less, and less more often is better than more or less often. So you take 5 drops under the tongue, once or twice a day. Twice a day is recommended. You can split up 10 drops to 3 drops a day. 3 because less is more, because you want to spread it across the board. It's not how much. More is not better. Less is better, but taking it more often is better. Do you get me? And that's what you do. So that your body's constantly being exposed to this technology. Guess what? You are being exposed. In spite of that you're constantly on a daily basis being exposed, the numbers still come down. The numbers of graphene oxide that are high levels still come down. We can graph it, from 550, 55 or 56, 7. They keep dropping. But you're constantly it's something that you have to take as long as you want to stay alive, as long as you want to protect your body, as long as you want to prevent, this injury that's happening, totally without your knowledge. And it's being blamed on something that doesn't even exist, a virus.
Great, Dr. Young. Thank you so much for your information, your enthusiasm, your passion. Your work is unbelievable.
It's a legacy.
It's a legacy. I just want to mention we're running on the hour right now. We only have a few minutes left. I would enjoy very much to have you back on the Power of Islands podcast at some point, and also Matt. I did want to mention to the people listening to this, perhaps that would listen to the recording, that Dr. Young, I became familiar with when you testified with Sasha Stone, and you had a full testimony where you had made a statement that 3 billion Africans are going to be eliminated. And now you're adding that, getting closer to home to the United States, saying that that only 90 million Americans are going to be alive. That actually sparks a lot of interest for Americans. But specifically in Africa, and this is something that I mentioned or asked of Matt, the drops that you're producing, the Masterpiece drops. I am right now in Brazil, and I was saying to Matt before you came on, the problem with getting those drops here is that customs is not going to let the drops in. My question to you, Dr. Young, is it possible that we can manufacture those drops here in Brazil? Is the technology something that we can do? And also in Sierra Leone, Africa, I have a very important project there to help with the health of the people there. And like you said, with water and malaria and what have you. So maybe you can make a comment about how can we get these drops?
Well, with the parasites, because we're finding Trypanosoma cruzi and microfilaria malaria parasites, and those can be dealt with very simply with a pine needle oil. And as far as getting those into the country, let me say it this way: anything that's thinkable is possible.
Right.
Anything that's thinkable is possible. We're thinking about this. I would say, talk with Matt. You can on some of the other things that I mentioned, you can talk with me about. But here again, if it has to be done, it has to be done for the good of the whole. For the good of the whole. This is not a product for me and not you. This is a product for everyone. You understand? So we understand that. We understand the importance of it, and we know that time is of the essence. We know all these factors, and it's speeding up. They realize that we're on to them. They realize the forces of good are building and building because they're receiving the truth, and the truth is going to paralyze their outcomes. And that is exactly the outcome we have. We want
I have an emergency. I'm so sorry, guys. I have people around the country that's waiting for me on this. It's an emergency, else I would not leave this second, but I know we're about finished up anyways. Robert, thank you all the time for everything for you standing for the truth and role modeling that.
Absolutely. And also you, Matt, you're doing a great job. And Dr. Young, we right now, we are on the top of the hour, and we have the Transhumanist Party, the third party, and the candidate for president in November 5th election Tom Ross is coming on, but right now Daniel is with us, who's running. Daniel Tweed is running for vice president. If you would like and you have time, Dr. Young, you can stay on with us. I know your schedule is very busy and you are saving lives. So if you need to run, I understand. I will stay in touch with you. And everyone in the audience listening to this, Dr. Young is very published and very vocal. And so if you're looking to find out more information about Masterpiece and the healing methods that Dr. Young has invented and Matt is helping to bring to the world and manifest, a lot of information online. So once again, Dr. Young, thank you for your presentation, your enthusiasm, your passion. It's wonderful. God bless you so much.
David, I would
Go
like
ahead.
to give a gift because intelligence is important in this particular time that we're living in right now. And the intelligence that I have been given is not for me to keep for just myself and a small group of people. The world needs to know this. So my offering is a gift to all of mankind, motivated by the creator of us all, that if you go to drrobertyoung.com, that's a website, okay? That's my website. If you will go there, I will send you an email with over 60 articles with two major, one is at Harvard, two major presentations, in addition to my latest articles and also the information you need to begin with this knowledge to begin providing, protections against these against these pollutions. So that will come to you. All you have to do is go to drrobertyoung.com with no charge. This is free. I do this myself, and I get thousands of emails a day. So it takes a lot of time to go through this, but I want people to have this. And please, once you get this, share it with everyone that you love and care about, or even those who you don't even know. The world has to know the truth. We need to stop this craziness that's going, this attack against all of us, against one and against all of us. Humanity is in an extinction protocol, and our lives and our survival now are at risk, and we need to protect ourselves. And there's ways to do this. We know how to do it. We've tested for it. We know the efficacy. We know it's safe. We know it's effective, and it's nature. And I trust nature. I trust God more than I trust man. And so here again, you need to verify this. You need to verify this, but I want to give you the information to begin your education in truth. That's my outcome. And it's free.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that generous offer. I'm sure that everyone listening to this is going to go into your website. Once again today, fabulous talk, really motivating and enlightening in the facts. You're a deliverer of the truth and the facts, Dr. Young. Thank you so much for your work for humanity. It's incredible.
Thank you, David.
And now on the top of the hour, Dr. Young, if you'd like to stay,